So today on S-Figure Reviews, what are we looking at? We are looking at a character who most people wouldn't really believe is real. A character who has had very few appearances in the comics. And one character that Donald Glover tried to adapt for Sony. And yeah, I don't think that would have worked, unfortunately, with the whole Sony thing being a bad franchise. At least the Marvel stuff is bad, except for the first two Venom movies. But we are looking at Antoine Deschamps, I think that's his name, a.k.a. the Hypno Hustler. So he is one of the three villains of this Spider-Man Blister card wave for 2026. We also have Cardiac the Owl. For heroes, we have the Uncanny Spider-Man, who is Nightcrawler, who becomes Spider-Man for a bit, during sort of the fall of, I don't know if it's fall of X, but it's when a lot of the mutants were getting hunted. Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and a few other villains were in charge, took over the Krakoa, etc. Then there's also Spider-Man 2099, who a lot of people are probably going to get. Me, personally, looks great. I'll admire from afar. I don't need it. I've got the Across the Spider-Verse version. It's not the best, but I don't want every Spider-Man to look alike, just from shape-wise. And then there is also Spider-Venom. Basically, it's Peter Parker Spider-Man, but it's tied to Venom War. Dylan Brock, son of Eddie Brock, had the Venom symbiote, and it just didn't bond with him at that point. So it rebonds with Spider-Man. He gets a new look. Very short-lived. It's about 3 issues, really. And he has the chains. So if you're wondering about that, he has the chains. That's why. But just spoiler alert, I really like this guy. You're probably thinking, lack of paint, just from seeing him straight away. And yeah, that's true. But sometimes paint doesn't make a good figure. It helps, but when you have a simplistic design like this, and the design that at least I've gone for is classic attire rather than one of his more modern looks, then you don't really need paint. So let's look at the packaging right now. It is a Spider-Man blister card. On the front, we've got some artwork of Deschamps with the classic Spider-Man animated series banner. At least, yeah, that's what I think it is. On the back, same image. We also have some of the villains and the characters. On the bottom, from the wave, all of them together, plus a bio from Deschamps, which I'm zooming up in. And we also have just a little render of what he kind of comes with. For a size comparison of the box, here we have Abomination and the Hypno Hustler, who I've kind of got on a bit of a dynamic-ish pose, using one of those spare McFarlane stands. If you had DC Multiverse figures, well, you have a bunch of these stands, or you've chucked them out, or you've used them as effect pieces for your spot. In my case, I used them as effect pieces for spot and chucked a whole bunch of them out, and now I regret it, because more figures I get somehow need stands. So, having a look at Hypno Hustler up close, I love the head sculpt. Now, if you've seen previous videos of mine, I have kind of complained about the inkjet printing, sort of the dot matrix, whatever it is, right? I don't like it, but in this case, and I think it is getting slightly better with certain figures, it works so well with the Hypno Hustler's head sculpt. I mean, that sort of spiral, hypnotic effect that you can see in the glasses. And the glasses are not removable, by the way. That is one sculpt. You couldn't do that without this matrix to get all the colors in there and just the fine, precise details. I love it. I really love it. I love the lips, the color of the lips. It's not faded away from the color of the skin tone plastic, the sort of brown plastic. Even the afro is cool. Like, the afro is just clean. There's a little bit of a gloss in there. That might have just been my lighting. If you recognize this body, this is the Spider-Man 2099 white and red suit and the Sunfire body model. It's mostly known as the Sunfire body. But this is the pinless version. So you can see a bunch of reuse here. because of the coiling sort of shoulder pads, and the neck piece, which I think is meant to be like a speaker. The belt is new. That's really cool. Now, I will show it off later, but the gloves are actually removable. So these are, yes, the pinless Sunfire body arms. The hands are reuse. I do not own this personally, this character. It is, I think, the comic Spider-Punk. They are reuse hands, and I'm not opposed to that. That's pretty good. Find some reuse wherever you can, I guess. Clever reuse. The boots are all new, which is awesome. A lot of collectors and reviewers have been sort of talking about, are these the Model 9 Iron Man boots? The feet are massive. It's a very similar sculpt. No, it's basically a small version of that. The feet are different. I mean, the cuffs do look similar, but they are a new sculpt, and they feel really nice to hand. Just a little touch from me. I really like also the holes in the feet. This is kind of reminding me of the X-23 Wolverine from the Sauron wave, which I don't have, wish I had. But I don't need a build saw anymore, so I'm hoping they just do a new version of her. But the holes in the feet are actually for effect pieces, which I will show you soon. And I just love it. The tread on the bottom, he's not affected by standing, because sometimes Hasbro does treads on the feet. For example, Captain America, the MCU Brave New World figure. And that thing is okay, but the feet sucked, so I switched out his feet with the Falcon from the Joe Fix-It wave. Colors don't exactly match, but he stands much better. And at least they sculpted enough here away from the feet that he actually has tread, and he's able to stand. The holes on the bottom of the feet are, well, as you saw with the stands, will work. They will work. The belt is new. If you are thinking, yeah, this is a reuse upper torso, no, it's not. Like I said, it is a reuse. You can't pull away in those parts. I will also say what is cool is that the neck is actually a separate piece, which is awesome, which you'll see later. It's actually got a bit of a swivel to it. It's a neck peg. It's got the swivel. It's really cool. And the pick here in the hand, I like the purple. It matches, or pink, whatever it is. So here are my references for some comic art. On the left, we have one of the modern looks for Hypno Hustler from Aaron Kuder. And that looks awesome. I wish we kind of got this look. It reminds me of a bit of a Silvermane mixed with the feet. It looks great. And then Frank Springer's artwork throughout the rest of the other shots. And that looks really good. And you compare this figure to the artwork, it looks really faithful. I think maybe he's a little slim. His head might be a little bigger, but really, for a character I don't think we're going to get another one of for a long time, this is great. And again, let's just look at the head sculpts. Oh my god. The head sculpt looks amazing. Just in this lighting, you can see the hypnotic effect. Now, we got to give credit where it's due to Paul Harding. Paul Harding does a hell of a lot of sculpts for Marvel Legends, some amazing head sculpts. If you've watched my Champion of the Universe video, or Champion of the Universe Star Fox, he did Champion of the Universe's head. That was a great sculpt. But you can see here his concept. And he was meant to be, and he was shown here as silver. Imagine that. That would have been awesome if he was silver instead of the white. The white is more accurate, but the silver just would look awesome. But you can see it. And Hasbro has printed it faithfully, designed this look faithfully using the body parts that they already had in stock. Okay, for accessories, here we have some reuse stuff. We have some generic white fists. We have some blast effects, smoke effects, which are mainly for your guns, but because of the holes in the feet, the Hypno Hustler is able to put them in his feet, or you're able to put them in the Hypno Hustler's feet. We also have a microphone, a reused microphone. I can kind of recognize that from maybe Dazzler. I don't personally own Dazzler, but, I mean, do you really want someone to just sculpt a new microphone? And then we have one of the reused guitars, which we've seen with so many figures. Multiple Spider-Punks. Deadpool even came with a guitar for some funky 2-pack. But yeah, I love how they look. They just work. And I love how the plastics are very similar, at least the pinks. And it works really well. So yeah, if you want to display him, there are multiple ways. You can have the guitar on the back. You can have the guitar in his hands. It just works. So I don't know if you really want to get this guy in dynamic poses, but he's going to be a really great add to your Spider-Man villains, your overall villains. Or if you're new to collecting, somehow, if I was to do like a top 10 essentials list, and it ranks back maybe the last 3 years worth of figures so far, so 2026, 2025, 2024, I would definitely put this up there. Because he's new character to the line. He's accessible, widely accessible right now at your local retailers, online. Yeah, he's going to work so well. Okay, it's articulation time. We are starting with the head movement. It's got a nice tilt, goes up quite a bit, and of course it's going to be hindered by the afro sculpt. It goes down actually a pretty nice amount, but he's also got the neck. So that's really cool. As you can see here, that's going to be your separate piece as well. It is a little hindered because of the collar, but it's a separate piece. That's really nice. Going on from there, we have the arms. They go up a little past 90. They are a bit hindered, and they are a little gummy, so it is quite hot here. So do keep that in mind. You can see his arms do go at full 360. There are no butterfly joints, unfortunately. The waist crunch is pretty good. Your standard Sunfire mold. We also have here the full 360 rotation of the arms, double jointed pinless. The gloves may hinder the movement a little bit, but also the gloves are removable if you don't want to have the Hypno Hustler with gloves, but I think for the look, you've got to have them. You've got to have them. So you can see how it works there. And there's nothing, usually those glove pieces affect the sculpt. No, not in this case. It's just a slip-on piece. So the hand should have both a horizontal and vertical hinge. They each should be a little different. We also have here let's go to the legs, right? So we do also have a waist cut. However, it is heavily hindered by the belt, but it is your standard waist cut. It will do a full 360. Going out, the legs go out that far. We also have, great thigh cuts that go full 360. Double jointed pinless knees. Pinless legs. Everyone loves pinless legs. The boots should also go a full 360, but they are a little tough. Oh, actually, that's really loose there. But the feet, there is not really much ankle pivot. The size is what you get. Not really much back and forth movement on the feet either. So, yeah, that's sort of your articulation. It's basic Marvel Legends. They've gone again aesthetic over sculpt. This is what they did with Star Fox. Okay, we're going to do size comparisons now. So, we've got here a mix of errors. That's the theme of this one. We've got a mix of errors. For the 2000s, we have the Mini Comics Wave 2 X-Men Astonishing Beast that was released last year. Probably my fourth favorite figure I bought last year. With a 2010s Lego Spider-Man. Just for my little Spider-Verse comparison, shall we say. And then jumping from the late 70s to the late 80s and the mid-90s. Here we have the Todd McFarlane Maximum Series design Spider-Man, which is still the best Spider-Man you can get for your Marvel Legends buck. And we have what can be argued as the best Captain America figure that they've released. It's not my favorite. It's my second favorite, actually. But this is the Capcom style Gamerverse 2-pack Captain America. I still think Secret Wars is the best. Alright, next up we have for some standard Marvel Legends comparisons. House of X, Cyclops on the Bucky Cap mold with the pinless arms. We have Spider-Woman on one of the pinned female standard body molds. We have Jean Grey, who is on the channel right now. Please have a look at her. If you're into some early 2025 releases and you're finding them for cheap now, I would definitely grab this. Again, cheap. I mean, not standard. We also have Banshee from Wave 1 of the mini comics line on the standard Vulcan mold. For some super villains. Okay, so from the first picture on the left, we have some other characters who have been on the Spider-Man Blister card, utilizing all new parts or a mix of reuse and new parts like Hypno Hustler here. For 2022, we have the Shocker, one of my favorite figures of 2022. Probably the best of that retro card wave for Spider-Man stuff. We have the Chameleon, who was the main villain of last year's retro card wave. And we have Venom from the 85th Marvel Celebration line. And this is definitely one of the better releases. Too bad he doesn't have enough neck movement. And thankfully, the Gameverse, coincidentally, fixed that problem with a neck peg rather than a dumbbell joint. And on the right, for your last sort of villain comparison, we have the recently released, reissued Abomination Build-A-Figure, which I have on the channel. Please go have a look at it if you're interested in getting this. It's good, it's bad, it's not great. And we also have the X-Men 97 Blister card Executioner, the only version of this character that has been released. But then again, maybe the only version a lot of people want or need. And again, we have Venom because Venom looks cool with these three. For your final Marvel comparison, we have some MCU live-action characters. Why? Because Donald Glover was going to play Hypno Hustler. The project never really saw the light. Here we have Stealth Suit Spider-Man / Night Monkey. I've already reviewed this guy, but I will be uploading the video soon. So please, if you're interested in some older figures, I've got Lady Deathstrike already up on the channel, so please check that out. And we also have here from Spider-Man No Way Home, my only Doctor Strange, and what I think is one of the best looking MCU figures, one of my favorites, Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch. Let's go. And on the right, we have your standard other line comparisons. We have Captain Carrot from the McFarlane DC Multiverse / Collector's Edition line. We have the Blockies Prequel Wave 1 Sesame Street Elmo. We have the Mattel DC Multiverse Kyle Rayner. We have the Jada Toys Creeper from the Scooby-Doo line / Scooby-Doo Where Are You line. And we have Greg the Carbonized Stormtrooper from Hasbro's of the major lines, Star Wars Black Series. Okay, so I hope this review has helped you understand the Hypno Hustler, not from a bio perspective, from a history perspective, but more so from an action figure perspective. That's the whole point of the video. So my final rating for this, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think it definitely is a sleeper for collectors. If you are into quirky characters, I could easily see this being in someone's top 10 favorite figures. Why? It's got enough new parts. It's effective in what it's meant to be. A quirky character, has decent articulation, and it just works even for new collectors who want to just start out with some villains and some heroes. This is one of them for sure. Even if you're not a Legends collector, I would highly recommend this. It's really nice. Just the pearlescent white really works for this character. I love the colors. Again, solid reuse. We have effective reuse of accessories as well. I love the new boots. And just sometimes simple is perfect. I love the pink, and sometimes pink looks a bit cheap on figures. I like that there is that darker hue in it, so it does bring out some of the finer details across everything that is pink on this figure. What else? Sometimes paint isn't everything. It looks really good just with the pearlescent white. The bright white, it looks really good. What are the negatives? Yeah, it is a reuse body. It is the Sunfire body. And I definitely think it needs to be retired. It's on the verge of becoming more used than Buckycap. It possibly has been used more than Buckycap. So I really think it needs to get retired or retooled in some way that it's going to meet the new collector standards. Yeah. Do wish it did have an extra head sculpt, just like a smiling head sculpt. But apart from that, accessories are decent. I would recommend this guy. This is definitely the best, if not the second best, figure of the wave. I don't know. Haven't got Cardiac. That's one I really want to get. and then the owl. Really the only things I want to get from this wave of the villains. So we'll see how those go. But I think Hypno Hustler, accessory-wise, has won that battle. But in terms of maybe figure-wise, whether it's the best or not, I definitely think it's in the top 3. Just have to say top 3. So, what are your thoughts on Hypno Hustler? Are you going to get this? Are you interested in getting this? Are you, into these sort of quirky characters, or are you just going to stick to your mainline villains that you know? Your Red Skull, your Doctor Doom, your Abomination, your MODOK, your, Vulture, Sandman, Kraven, etc. Who do you exactly want? Would you have maybe changed out this line to have more quirky characters, maybe less Spider-Man variants? Or would you have just gone, I want a new standard Kraven or Vulture or Doc Ock, etc.? Sound off in the comments below if you're interested. Please give us a like if you did like this video. If you dislike this video, yeah, dislike it. I don't mind. If you're interested in hearing another opinion on action figures from someone who actually really loves this stuff, and it's not just buying stuff for the sake of it like so many people do, and so many do for just views. I'm buying this stuff because I really personally want it. So please please subscribe. If you're interested, you want to hear someone else's opinion. I've got some videos that you may be interested in, some reviews of a mix of new and old collectibles, so please check them out at SFIGUREREVIEWS. This has been, yes, SFIGUREREVIEWS. Thanks again for watching. See you soon.